Pomo Tribe by Alysa and Savana.
Geographical features: Pacific Coast, Clear Lake, Cleon, and Duckins Point.
The climate of region. In the summer, it's hot with a high of 100 and a low of 80 degrees. In the winter, it's cold with rain, sometimes hail, and thunderstorms.
Food sources. If some of the Pomos lived in the coastal area, they ate fish, seaweed, shellfish, seals, sea lions, deer, elk, and other animals from the forest. They enjoyed dried seaweed and traded with others who lived in the valley. In the forest, men hunted deer, elk, antelopes, rabbits, squirrels, and different types of birds. They also gathered acorns and ate grasshoppers and caterpillars.
Houses/buildings. Eastern and western Pomos used tullweeds that grew in Clear Lake. They used them to tie poles together to form an overlapped building. Many families lived in these houses. Each house had a fireplace inside. Most groups closer to the ocean used redwoods and built their house in a cone-like structure. They were covered with red wood bark and were 8 to 15 feet in diameter.
Crafts and clothing. Clothing were made out of shredded redwood trees, tool reeds, and pieces of willow trees. If you were wealthy, you may have deerskin, robes, or skirts. Women wore skirts that went down to their ankles and capes over their shoulders. This covered the upper part of their bodies. Men mainly wore nothing. However, if they did, they would wear short aprons or capes over their shoulders. These were made out of shredded bark and rolls. For wintertime, they had rabbit skin, which they used as a blanket. Sea otter, bear, puma, and wildcat skin was also used for blankets too.
Tools and materials they used. Pomos mainly made baskets with many beautiful designs. They used feathers and beads to make coiled baskets. Pomos who lived along the coast often made rafts of driftwood. They used them to hunt sea lions, seals, and mussels. The Clear Lake Pomos made rafts from tulle reeds and held together with grapevines. The southern eastern Pomos lived on islands on the lake. They made basket traps, and spears for their fishing. For hunting large animals, they used a bow and arrow, spears, and clubs. However, for smaller animals, they used nets and traps. They also made knives out of obsidian or chert, which is a type of rock, or bones.
Religions and spiritual practices. They called their dance he or ki, which meant sing. High ki is a ceremony which involves many days of dancing. All men and women wore colorful dance costumes and normally made by the men. They used bright beads and feathers to decorate their costumes. Headbands had flicker, a type of woodpecker's feathers on them. They sang all different kinds of songs, such as love songs, lullabies, hunting songs, gambling songs, and religious songs. They used musical instruments such as flutes, whistles, clapper sticks, rattles, and drums.
These are the websites we used. Thank you for listening to our presentation by Alyssa and Savannah.